That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to There Are No Quick Fixes to This Issue edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up if you approve of the content. Helps in the algorithm. Appreciate that too. Notifications on. You be alerted every time something makes me mad and I got to record about it. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishindy@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You can get me. Call-in line, been getting a lot of use. A lot of use on the juice. 312-988-15. So, the worst part about the Marshall game is there's so many problems. It's hard to just identify one or two main things you could shore up and then feel okay going into Cal. There's way too many problems for that. And that makes it hard, especially offensively. You're not good at anything. You're not good at anything. You cannot run to set up the pass. You cannot pass to set up the run. And all that was before Tyler Buchner got hurt. Now he's out for the year. All of that dynamic I went over was there even if Buchner was playing. When Buchner was playing. You can't run to set up the pass or pass to set up the run. You have no foundation, no identity, no stability at all at the quarterback position. And now Tyler Buchner's out for the year, and I guess it's going to be Pine. And you're just going to have to figure out something, anything, to get through it. The issue is Buchner and Pine have similar skill sets. Pine's just a lot less athletic and not as big. So the same struggles we saw with Buchner, how could I expect not to see them with Pine? Big picture issue here is the two units of this program we thought were going to carry us all year. Up front, offensive line, defensive line are both letting us down. We are not getting the production or play out of both of those units. And when the units you thought were going to be your strength are not good, and you add that in with all the other stuff you already were worried about not being good, that's how you end up here. That's how you end up where we are this week, Notre Dame people. This is how. So, with all this in play, you have all this big picture stuff, small picture stuff. Big picture stuff, I mean, is Freeman in over his head or whatever? I like to think it's too early to make that declaration. But when a Notre Dame coach can't win at Notre Dame and has no wins and all losses, no matter how many there are, I can't poo-poo the idea. Out of blind faith and what I have seen, I like to think Marcus is going to figure it out. Some of the fan base thinks otherwise already. When you don't win any games, I can't back you. And when you have no body of work of evidence as head coach showing you can do it, I can't back you. So I was all in Marcus's corner, but I can't anymore. I can't anymore. When you allowed this against Marshall, I can't defend you. And even if I disagree with some of the questions being asked or the premises, if you will, I can't poo-poo anything. It's all on the table. It's all on the table when you get dominated at your place by Marshall. Everything's out there. All questions are fair. So now you have to treat every game like it's losable because every single game's losable. That's why. You guys, the offense was terrible with our starting quarterback. How much better do you think it's going to get with the other guy who's smaller and shorter and has less of a strong arm and isn't as fast? How much better do you think it's going to get? tough times. It's tough times in ND Nation land, folks. Tough out here in these streets. Tough. I thought Angeli looked better than Pine and Buckner in the blue and gold game. He looked like he was running the offense with way more comfort, ease, and a natural feel than I thought Buckner or Pine. So I don't know. I'm not saying, it has to be Angeli over Pine. Let me be very clear. There are no good options. This isn't choosing between one good option or another good option. There are no good options. There are no good options. Zero. None. Same amount of wins Marcus has at Notre Dame. Zero. So this isn't a matter of, oh my God, Angeli over Pine. 1A, 1B. No. No. This is awful. And again, I got into this in the chat with some people before. How much of this is it fair to blame on Brian Kelly? How much of it is not? How we played against Marshall is not Brian Kelly's fault at all. That's on the players. That's on the staff. That part is not on Brian Kelly. However, what the wide receiver room and the quarterback room look like now, two huge things holding the program back, I am going to blame Brian Kelly for. Both of those rooms are a disgrace to the history of Notre Dame's football lineage. All right? Kelly was the architect of ending up with Notre Dame having a three wide receiver rotation starting the year. Okay? So, no, it's not Kelly's fault. The players failed and the staff didn't put him in a good position against Marshall. Not Kelly's fault. But the roster issues that Freeman has to navigate are Kelly's fault. How can they not be? Not having any elite quarterbacks, any proven quarterback at all in the system at all, in the program at all. Brian Kelly. And if you want to blame Reese for some of that because he's been here recruiting too, go for it. Go for it. That's on Kelly. What Kelly allowed to happen in his oversight of the wide receiver room is Kelly's fault. Kelly caused these issues. They're Freeman's problems. And I want to be very clear. I had somebody else in the chat say, you're losing credibility. Freeman's losing these games, not Kelly. He's gone. You're not allowed to mention him. 100% disagree. 100% disagree. The moment Brian Kelly's no longer relevant to the Marcus Freeman era is the first year that no Brian Kelly players are on the Notre Dame team. Until then, these two things are going to be linked in my mind. Linked in my mind. All right? So, not Kelly's fault about Marshall. What he allowed to happen with some of the depth and position groups that is now our problem is his fault. It is. So, but listen to the words I say. Sometimes you people have in your mind what you want it to be, and you stretch it when I'm telling you what it is. I don't blame Kelly for the result. I blame Kelly for a lot of the things that put us in a position to get that result. Not the quarterback room at Notre Dame's a joke, you guys. It is a national joke. The idea that you could be Notre Dame and have this type of quarterback dynamic is a total joke. Why can't Notre Dame, with that beautiful gold dome and all the trophies and all the Heismans and Joe Montana, and Notre Dame can't get an elite quarterback that wants to play there or develop, or Notre Dame gets the guys and they can't develop into it? Phil the thrill. I don't know. But I'm sick of Notre Dame fans, we're so used to bad quarterback rooms and no stability and no elite play to rely on and all that. We're so used to it, conditioned from Kelly of that. I think a lot of people don't realize it doesn't have to be that way. Notre Dame's unique in the fact that they don't have any quarterbacks that can throw the ball around. All right? A lot of teams with 1/10 of the talent of Notre Dame throw the ball around all over on Saturdays. We can't. I don't know how it's possible at Notre Dame. So now that we know we have a new quarterback dynamic, it's going to be a nightmare. Let's go over how you stop the bleeding now. How do you stop the bleeding now? You need to get a win against Cal. I don't care how. I don't care how it looks. I don't care how bad you play. We are bleeding out in the middle of the road, dying right now. Somebody needs to apply a tourniquet, save the limb. And if you lose to Cal, then you may as well just chop your leg off in the road. Because then you got North Carolina, BYU, and it's like, I used to think Notre Dame should win those, maybe tough game. Nope, not anymore. It's all on the table now. You could lose to anybody. You could lose to anybody playing the way we play. How do you stop the bleeding now? Here's number one. You got to get your playmakers, the few of them you have, the ball in space more often. Styles, Mayer, Tyree. Get them all the ball a bunch of different ways, any way you can. You cannot run the ball at all. And your wide receiver situation's terrible. Now you have a backup quarterback. Bad dynamic. Your best shot is to get the ball to these playmakers and then hope they do something. And if this sounds pathetic and desperate, there's a reason for that. It's because it's pathetic and desperate. But that's where we're at, and we need to get one win. You need to get a win. Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. That's me. So get the ball to your athletes. It's criminally offensive to me that Tyree is already not a bigger part of the offense. Is he in Reese's doghouse or what? So that's number one. When you know you can't run the ball, you have to figure out any way to get these guys the ball and then hope they do something great with their athleticism. That's going to be your best offense this week. It is. Maybe we'll be able to run it better against Cal, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I also want to see, what are the changes to the offensive line? What are they going to be? If you're going to tell me after these 2 weeks, you're going to run the same group out there in the same lineup and starting position, we have issues. We have bigger issues. You're not going to move Patterson back. Like, you got to do something. Corral should be working at the Golden Corral. Like, no, I need someone has to answer for this. It's like a mob hit gone bad. Somebody has to answer for this. You cannot have the balls to run that same starting offensive line out there in that order. It's not working. It's not working. I could give you Ohio State to figure it out, but you don't get Marshall too. So I need accountability. I expect something different. You have to. You have to. You don't have a choice. Number two, you're going to have to run a system the quarterback and the offensive line can handle. Right now, they can't handle anything. So you're going to have to do a lot of moving the pocket, RPO, on the move. You're just going to have to. You're going to have to. Notre Dame clearly came into the year trying to run power and be a power run team. You're soft. You're soft. How many weeks in a row are you going to try that before you realize you're soft and you're not good up front and your guys are not tough and they're not physical and they don't move anybody and they don't fight and they don't play to the end of the whistle? They don't get their assignments right. How many weeks do we need to go to figure that out? So because You cannot count on the offensive line to do anything at all. You need to move the pocket. You need to have the quarterback on the run, whether it's Angeli, Pine, Buckner, the skeleton of George Gipp. I don't care who it is. Your offensive line isn't good at football. So you're going to have to play backyard football, move the pocket, think about it. Your offensive line is bad. Okay? What's the best way to negate that? Get the quarterback the hell away from them to where you're not relying upon them for a play to go well, because they can't be trusted. They got dominated by Marshall. I can't trust you. Your offensive line, it is offensive. I'll give you that. It's offensive for sure. O-line, oh yeah, it's offensive. So I guess you're right. It is. So the problem I have with what Reese has been doing is Reese has been trying to run an offense he wants the team to be, instead of running an offense that can be and is. And that's how you end up with 2 losses. You could see it clear as day. He wants to make this a power run team. Wanted to do it with Buckner, knowing the wide receiver issues, to minimize Buckner having to throw it around. I get that in theory. How long are you going to do it when it's not working at all before you're going to pivot? Are you just going to stay stubborn and insist on doing it, and then we keep losing every week? It's a joke. It's a joke. You know what else is very poor coaching, folks? Tommy Reese, 6 times, 5 for sure, maybe 6. First down doesn't go well. Incomplete pass, run for no yards, whatever. One of those 2. It's got to be one of those 2. Well, or an interception. I'll take that back. But this is so sad. I'm having a hard time even being focused. Staying focused. I'm so mad. I just can't even. I can't handle it. I mean, this is just so off the rails, folks. I don't know what we're gonna do for offense this week. I don't. I'm pulling my hair out. Tell me. I'm sweating. I'm so mad about this. You just don't have anywhere to go. You don't have anywhere to go. So move the pocket, let the quarterback run. You're going to have to play backyard ball, let Pine run around, move in the pocket, do all that. And you're just going to have to hope for the best. The offensive line situation, I don't get it. Harry, where are you at, bro? So first 2 things. Number 1, get your playmakers the ball. Often, whenever you can, however you can. That is your best chance to move the ball in the current dynamic. Number 2, you're going to have to run a system the quarterback and the offensive line can operate in. Reese has been trying to run one they can't. He's running what he wants it to look like, not what it is. Here's what it was that lost my brain. 5 or 6 times, incomplete 1st and 10, run stuff for nothing. 5 times minimum, 6 times, I think. 2nd and long, run play right up the middle for no yards. Right? If John, this idiot in his basement, can know 2nd and long, it's going to be a run up the gut for nothing. If I know that as a moron sitting here yelling into a microphone, what do you think Marshall's coaching staff thought? You think they didn't think it? After 2 or 3 times, that's who you are. So 2nd and long, 5 times, running into a pile for nothing. That is Tommy Reese. That is that genius. That is that savant. That is the guy that sees football on a different level than all of us. And he's that predictable that a dummy like me at home knows your tendencies enough to call it out on TV first and go, run up the middle for nothing. 5 times he did it. He called it 5 times. knowing you weren't going to get any blocking all 5, but he did it anyways. Unacceptable coaching. That is unacceptable to be that predictable. If something's working, by all means, keep doing it. He's doing stuff that isn't working over and over again. Boy wonder, genius, I'm told. Number 3, player accountability. It's very simple. If you do not do your job, you're out. You're out. Give another guy a try. I don't care if you're a 9th-year captain. I don't care if you're an All-American. I don't care if you're the only guy at the position that's starting with any experience. I don't care. The integrity and reputation in Notre Dame are more important than that individual. And I need to protect the whole operation. Marshall wanted to win the game at Notre Dame Stadium more than Notre Dame did. That offends me personally. Personally, that offends me. They wanted it more. That's a problem. So I need accountability. Now, all these coaches talk about, accountability. The coaches need to be accountable. So do the players. It starts with me, all of us. We all need to be accountable. Words are words. Actions are what matters. So everybody all week in Notre Dame land is going to be talking about accountability. You're going to hear it all week. What does it look like? Accountability to me means I need different names in that starting offensive line next week. If we're being accountable, I need different names in the starting lineup next week. I need freshmen playing that didn't play the last 2 games. That's accountability. The guys you thought you could count on already failed you and the whole season's ruined. So I'm done with that. I can't afford to let them tarnish this anymore. So if you're not doing your job, you're done playing football for the day. Sit down. Sit down. If you're making mistakes in wins, I'm mad, but I can live with it and we can learn from it. Once it starts costing you games, no. Marcus has a lot on his plate. He's got some tough decisions, tough conversations that have to be had. Talky. Accountability this, accountability that. If you run out same offensive line next week, no accountability. So everything you're saying is made up. Made up? It's like, well, John, the offensive line, maybe they need time to ease into it. The year's over. The cupboard wasn't bare. Brian Kelly left you to where you weren't going to win the title this year, but it can't be this bad either. There's a lot of wiggle room to live in the middle, guys, in between those two. Accountability. I need different guys playing. That's accountability. And if this continues, then I need different guys coaching too. Number 4, call on the team leaders and captains to get more out of this operation. Leaders are needed right now. And the coaches can only do it so much. Where are your captains? I thought it was such a big deal to be a captain at Notre Dame. Then why did you let Marshall humiliate you at home coming off a loss? Where's your leadership? Maybe Goolsby's onto something. Former Notre Dame linebacker, when he went off saying, felt to me like these guys bought into the head coach's swag and how cool we are. Maybe didn't put it into work, because where's the results? When even the guys you thought you could count on are letting you down, something's going wrong. So I need to call on the team leaders. Where is your pride to stop this? Where is your pride? Where are the players holding each other accountable? Yeah, it's the coaches putting them in position, but a lot of Saturday was poor execution too. So now is not the time for words. I am not interested in hearing about accountability and seeing the same guys play this week. No, that is not accountability. That's just you saying things you think the media wants you to say. Number 5, back to basics on defense. You're getting sloppy. At least this part of the team's salvageable, but you're getting sloppy. Not wrapping up, getting ran all over, bad run fits. No, you don't cause any pressure, no havoc, no turnovers yet. You have no turnovers through 2 weeks, and you have an offense can't move the ball. Bad recipe. Bad recipe. Okay? At least when Ty had that 1 year, what was it, 2002, 2003? That 1 year we had no offense at all, but started like 10-0 because we got like special teams plays every day, pick sixes every day, and won it that way. You ain't going to get it this year. So back to basics on defense. Run fits, linebackers. I thought you'd be much better. I did, and they're not. I hate to say this, guys. Here's how you know just how jacked up things are in Notre Dame land right now. I might feel best about this Notre Dame secondary right now of the whole defense. I might feel best about secondary. Tariq Bracy, good day. I didn't get beat on over the top on a big bomb. I actually might feel best about Notre Dame secondary as far as the group I like the most on defense. That should send alarm bells through Notre Dame Nation and shivers down your spine. But the line, disappointing. They don't get any pressure. Linebackers, anytime they come for a blitz, 2 seconds late. The linebackers receive the running back. They don't go downhill, meet him, and hit him. They catch him, and they get carried another 2 yards. Happened all day Saturday. It's rough. It's rough. They do that 3 down dollar front, and all that means is they're going to run it to wherever that gap was, and Notre Dame keeps doing it. They did it last year too. But every time they try and do that dollar stuff, and if you move Adamiola back or whatever, nope, they run it right there every time for 7, 8 yards. What do we do in the next series? Do it again. Dial it up again. 3-man front, run it for 8 yards. I don't get it. I'm struggling. So, in summation, worst case scenario, across the board, you need to find a way to pull together a win here and stop the ship from sinking. If you find a way to lose to Cal at home and then have North Carolina, BYU ahead of you, this gets tough. You think this week and the shows I've had and the call-ins are tough now? Wait and see. So good luck to Pine. Good luck to Angeli. Horrible luck to Buckner. The guy just can't catch a break unless it's in his foot or his arm or his collarbone. It's horrible. Quick fixes. 1, get the playmakers the ball early and often all over the field any way you can. Okay? Number 2, you have to run a system that helps the quarterback and doesn't hurt it. You were not doing that even when Buckner was healthy. They were trying to run an offense we weren't capable of running. 3, player accountability. You don't do your job, you're out. 4, team leaders. I'm calling on the captains to get heads to roll and get players to hold each other accountable. Number 5, defense, back to basics. This group has issues, but they're salvageable. They're salvageable if you do the right things. By salvageable, I don't mean they're going to be elite. I just mean good enough that you're not looking at it as being horrible every week. But I need both defensive fronts, or both fronts, offensive and defensive, to wake up. We were relying on you guys to be the engine and the anchor of this operation this year, knowing there's a lot in flux around you. You guys needed to be the units driving all this, and you're not. And it's making everything worse. You got upperclassmen, experienced guys on these lines. They're not doing the job. I need it to change.